And so, but that's cool that you. And so basically, you start running that like battle circuit, and you're participating in that whole thing. Are you also interested in music at that time, or is it like just battles?
Not yet, not yet. Um, at that time, I'm still, I'm moving up in my professional life. So, making music was not a thing. Not a thing. I would just, want to do my little battles maybe 3 times, 4 times a year, and just kind of keep it, just kind of keep it moving. Even battle rap was viewed different then. There was, the merit system was still wins and losses. You
Yeah,
know, So the if you win the
Okay.
battle, and it could be ugly, it could be an ugly win, but you're after that you put a W, you got a win in the win column. You graduate onto uh, stronger competition. Also, if the public likes you or not, or not the public, but your league, your circle, you know, uh, trust you enough, and you earn that faith with them, then you get the privilege of going on the road with them. Places like Florida, or California, or Philly, Chicago. Places where they were actually um, epicenters for battle rap. It's not what it is now, where you can do you can have a strong event in Sheboygan,
yeah.
yeah, or Asheville, North Carolina, and shouts to Sheboygan, shouts to Asheville. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't that yet. So people from those smaller communities, their dreams were to come to New York and battle, or go to the Bay and battle, or South Florida, Los Angeles. But you had to kind of just stack up those wins. You could be a
That's
crowd
super
favorite.
nifty.
Yeah,
And so
you could
the
be a
trend.
crowd favorite. But if you're not winning, yeah, you
So the
may or may not
judging.
get opportunities.
So then, really, that part at the end where the judges are doing their bit is like super important. Then, right? Like that
Yeah,
has to be there in order
yeah.
to explain the. Because I'm like sitting there and it stops happening at a certain point. And for me, battle rap journey is like I get told you're talking to Iron Solomon, and I didn't know who he was at the time, and this was in
Mm-hmm.
like December. So since then, I've been a little more educated on battle rap
Yeah,
via this journey.
we when we got together, that's what I liked about Holden, was that he wasn't up on battle rap. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, so it's just like yo, there's a whole new world
Yeah,
out
well,
here.
it's
You
been
know what I
like
mean?
that.
Like,
And then there was like that dense learning curve, and then you get past that learning curve, and you're like, oh, it is fun, and you really like get into the sport of it. And now I'm really at the part where I really like the people who shout shit out in the crowd. That's my favorite part. Is the that was fire. That's my favorite guy at every fucking event right now. I'm not even gonna
Talk
lie.
that fan, talk that fan shit.
That's it, man. All that shit. It's almost like if the battle doesn't elicit that, it doesn't have the same energy to me. So like,
Right.
but
yeah,
it's fun. Like because then you start thinking about more like wrestling, and you start to understand all the dynamics of it a little bit differently. And it was like with the context, it's amazing. But to think about it from the perspective of like, I know now it's more like the internet decides, let the comments figure it out type shit. So I understand that that's how it's become. But like back in the day, I'm watching him, and there's like this judge commentary at the end. That's often what it is, and you're not sure about why that matters and whatnot. And then I don't agree with a lot of the judging too, right? Like sometimes I'll be like, "What? Say a word." You really?
that's the
Because they're like
problem. That was
they're
always the
like
problem
in
with
the
judging.
moment, right? Doing judging off of some shit they just saw, and I'm sitting here all this time later watching the shit, being like, "Nah, you guys didn't catch any of this shit."
Yeah,
But like,
I mean, then it was a simpler time. The stakes weren't as high as they are now. Battlers, might see a purse. And I'm not trying to count nobody's money, but battlers might see a purse of $1,000 or $500. Your hotel and your hotel and your flight. That would, I guess, be the baseline. compensation then. It's not now where it's an excess of $5,000, $10,000 in your air fare, your your hotel, and comps, for your peoples.
Yeah.
And with the judging, how that impacts if people are out there, losing battles who they think that they should have won, you know, a battle rapper can be like, "Hey man, you're messing with my money, bro. You're messing with my
Yeah.
money. You might cost me thousands of dollars down the line because of fill in the blank, whatever the critique on the judges is. You didn't judge that right, or you're viewing it through the wrong lens, or whatever their grievances might be."
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? These battle rappers are like, "Yo, man, you gonna fuck my money up, bro. Fuck out of here." So now a lot of people don't want to be judges, or judges are not in the building, so their safety ain't threatened. You know what I mean? They judging it from
Yeah.
home. It's a safe space.
That's a wild thought, Stills.
That,
Um, yeah, fair enough. So you're from the era of judging.
Yeah.
That's the important part, and that means wins matter. And does that mean like just okay? So if you're a battle rapper in this era, then are you like? Do you know who the judges are ahead of time?
Oftentimes they would be announced on the spot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You look into the crowd, or you look at the attendance, and
I know as a
right, as a league owner, you just sit there and just be like, okay, this guy, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have no. He's a battler himself, or he's battled before. He has a vested interest in our movement, but not a vested interest on who wins this battle. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I select him, and so on and so forth with the rest of the judges.
We would have groups like people that we knew that were invested in like battle rap, but weren't necessarily um like favorable towards anybody, and they were more towards like they wanted to see the best battler win, and we'd be like, okay, if he's at the event, then okay, so Jay Smooth, who like does radio and like doesn't necessarily have a dog in any of these fights,
Mhm.
because he's really just a fan of the culture, is like judge, and like Abacus, who we know is at all these events and like cares about like battle rap in general, but isn't necessarily like favoritism towards anybody. But like we knew, like there'd be like, oh well, Abacus is hanging out with Team Homi a lot. I should probably not put him to judge like a Team Homi member's battle because like it'd be unfair,
It was
So
very
That's fair.
helpful. It was very helpful if there was a celebrity judge in the building. You know what I'm saying? Because a that person you for sure don't have a vested interest into the battlers themselves, and b if they are excellent, if they are at the highest, they're celebrities already. How are you going to challenge that opinion? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
If Rock Ness Monster, is judging a battle, or you know what I'm saying, maybe, and Iron Solomon, who you know what I'm saying, and we're entry level or novice battlers or what have you. How we going to challenge their judgments? If, you know what I'm saying? If they're already at an expert level,
And what's crazy is they could have just not cared and given bad judgments, and you still couldn't like. I'm not saying they did, but like they could have, and there's not much what you could have done for the exact same reasons. That's like a
right?
wildly interesting dynamic to exist. And again, I'm not implying that they were bad judges. It was just more the idea
Yeah.
of it.
Now those are more. It's hype. That was these. This is a hypothetical standpoint, right? But
Yeah,
we would often have celebrity judges come through,
yeah.
and
That
take part in the battle.
Peter Rosenberg from New York
Right.
City's Hot 97 radio station. We would maybe have Rock from Helter Skelter swing by an event and judge. Just like random rappers that were like on signed to record label, had music on radio, but they were into the underground, and like they would come by and like be a judge, you know, because like who's not gonna trust a rapper who already has a record deal? I
right?
I do believe you do have more leeway to judge here, sir. So
Mhm. Styles P pulled up one time, right? At 7:30 was it Styles P?
Styles P came by from the Locks. All sorts of people have judged. Like I forget literally like the amount of like people and people. My like I'm constantly like told by because when like you're running an event, you don't pay like I'm not paying attention to anybody in the crowd. I got to make this event happen, and like the door and like the crowd being quiet and like the battlers themselves are like where my mind is focused because that's what's gonna make the event run. So like I'm constantly told like, yo, you didn't know such and such this what's her name? The this woman, she's a rapper from Brooklyn. She was with Joel Ortiz and Nitty Scott MC. Like Sarah one time was like, yeah, Nitty Scott MC was like at a draft event. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even know. I didn't
Persia,
know, you know.
Persia,
Persia, people just being
Mocha.
Money Love, yeah,
We definitely had, we definitely had people come through and just try to help, uplift the movement at the time.
yeah,
That's wild.
big facts. Lending their popularity to like what we were doing type shit.
So that's such a cool thing to be like. I guess just such a part of a seminal point of battle rap history. Honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy. I count my blessings. I'm happy I was there, but I've gotten lifelong friends out of this. Yeah, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
family.
So,
Yeah,
and so on that note, at what point do you link up with Team Homi?
daily. I mean, we don't see each other. We don't know.
I mean, like back in the day times. Like, how did you like link up with them?
Oh no, no.
That was pretty
I,
hilarious.
it was mostly centered around battle rap events, and it just didn't have to be our home league. You know what I'm saying? And the home league being um, either the draft league itself or Grind Time East Coast. You had a couple of other local leagues like We Go Hard, When Animals Attack, um, Panic Room, right? Those two are out in Jersey.
King of, King of,
King of
uh,
the King of the Ring.
King of the Ring, King of the Ring
King
in the
of the Ring.
Bronx.
Yep, Queen of the Ring, Trap House. Like there were a whole bunch of other local leagues. When YouTube popularity really took off. A lot of people who had friends who could rap, they decided to organize on their own, um, and just and try to showcase their talent. Those groups were looking at our leagues, your Grind Time East Coast and Draft League, as the leagues to get to. You know what I'm saying? So those would be, I don't want to call them stepping stones because it sounds harsh. Springboards. How about that? Right?
Yeah,
They
to
would,
a wider audience.
do their couple of battles, within their home league. And, what I'm saying? For them to get familiar with MCing or to get familiar with how to maneuver in a crowd. You know what I'm saying? What lyrics are gonna work? What flows? What's gonna work? And then they would look to graduate to us, to our platform that we had. And if you were able to be successful on our platform, that opens up being able to maybe go to Canada and battle on King of the Dot, or go
Mm.
out west and battle on Fresh Coast or Florida, or you know what I mean. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
fire.
like it was like be like New York was like, yo, like hopefully eventually I get to battle like Conceited or SoCon or like hopefully I eventually get to battle like Hollow the Don or like like that was like people's goals, because they were
Yep.
the top dogs. and you knew that if you battled one of them, like that's gonna be a highly viewed battle, you know.
For sure.
That's dope. So I guess as you're progressing through it, you definitely get at least to go to Canada because there's some King of the Dot stuff that happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's that? So like I guess how does your battle career progress from like the beginning points?
Um, for my first four battles, I went 4-0 in my first four battles. Um, I had a little angle about me. People couldn't tell what I was because I'm from Staten Island. So Staten Island, there's a perception of it being predominantly Irish and Italian neighborhood. And here I am. I'm not, I'm not trying to. I'm dropping M bombs left and right, and I'm not trying to apologize for nothing. And I'm not trying to explain myself for it either. So there was a little bit of an edge. I had a very strong, dark sense of humor. So there was some shock value to a lot of the lyrics that I used to, that I had at the time. So I would, go 4-0 my first four battles, and then I would make my way out west to battle in what was it, Oakland Riot, Oakland Riot, and I would just try to battle their top gunner out there and try to capture some fans out of there, people who had never heard of me, uh, because they were, they were very into just kind of, the surface level talent, and those be the most value, the most popular. Your Hollow the Dons, your Swave Sevens, your Concededs, you know what I mean. But I would just try to kind of like make my bones, go out west and battle their top talent. I would go to Canada and battle on one of the premier cards. What was it? World Domination 4. Yeah, I did bad that battle. I choked all three rounds. I would have beat him with the material I had. I just couldn't memorize. But it was a learning. It was it was a learning moment for me. Don't try to prepare for too many battles at one time. I didn't have to take on 2 or 3 battles in a 3-month span. I could have just did one. I didn't know that battle rap was going to progress the way it did, and these opportunities would be plentiful. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to be the hot hand, and while I got some momentum behind me, just try to capture as much opportunity as I can. And I went to Canada and I stunk it up, man. It was sad. Yo, shouts to King of the Dot, by the way, man. Shouts to King of the Dot.
I mean, I don't know. I think Notes was trash, but
Yeah,
yeah.
because that's the thing. We watched that beforehand.
Like,
I did
I was
not.
like, when they gave the judgment to him, I was like, what? Even with the stumble, it's like, bruh, like, dude, like, was trash Nathaniel for 3 whole rounds, and
Nah,
then
I'm
he
like,
brought his
I'm with
boy
him.
in, who was
And we were
wild
like,
more fire
what?
than him, and I'm like, what? Your boy is
And then he
wild better
like
than you,
closed it
son.
off. Now the one thing I can say is it's mad Canadian to be like, and I give, like I put my boy on. Like I could see how that would work in Canada. To be honest with you, I'm thinking about it, but still watching it, I was like, honestly, your shit was nicer.
Yo, you notice how when his boy jumped in the battle, I backed him all the way up into the crowd while he was rapping. He's backing up slowly, and I'm just all in his shit, trying to make him forget. Because at the time, I'm frustrated that I'm saying, I had misplaced my bars.
Yeah, I
And,
seen. I was disappointed. I was like, why? But
and I was just,
I could tell you were scatterbrained.
yeah, it was a bad day at the office. What are you gonna do?
That
And look,
office
man,
happens to all of us.
for sure, for sure. But I'm definitely
I always liken battle rap to one on one combat like boxing and MMA because of the in the sense of like there's nobody like it's not a team sport. Like you can't this isn't a basketball team. There's nobody you could depend on here. It's just you by yourself. And like sometimes you get punched in the face and like you take a L. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody I liken it more to MMA than boxing because like I feel like in MMA, nobody gets out of MMA unscathed. Nobody gets out of MMA without a loss. Everybody takes a loss eventually, you know? And I think that that's what battle rap is like. Like, there's no winning all the time. You
Yeah,
have to eventually lose, you know?
it's humbling when it does happen, though, right? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because then you have a chance to just kind of get off, just kind of look at things from a bird's eye view and be like, all right, I could have done more of this and less of this, or I could have done this differently. And this is just the means of polishing your craft, right?
Yeah.
You
So
know.
I could see how before you lose, you're not as inclined to go study everything you just did.
Mhm. Yeah, I've watched it. I've watched it a couple of times, and I think my area of opportunity there was just making sure that I memorized my lines.
I
Yeah,
honestly think that, like, honestly, from like watching it now, right, and not have watched it when it came out, like, I'm like, I just think that you should have stopped, like, talking out loud about like fucking up. Sometimes people don't notice when you fuck up. Like, it's you who notices you fucking up. And it makes
agreed.
you, and you then say something about you fucking up, and it makes people be like, you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But like, most people would
Yep.
not even fucking notice the shit if like
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
didn't
like
notice
mention
it
it. You know?
because I was
Agree. I
sitting there.
agree.
So you also got to understand, I'm real annoyed with your opponent at that moment because there's
Yeah,
something about
exactly.
his
He's
like
so
slow,
trash.
but it's the
Yeah.
way his like slow delivery was not. Because I mean, I don't know if he was trash or not. It just made me not want to pay attention. So then I didn't even, and then you do your thing, and I'm like, that's more enjoyable for me. And I'm not just saying that because of whatever. Like, I just felt that, like,
Now you have that.
yo,
Your shit
let
was better.
me spit my. And I'm like, I mean, yo, you could be. I don't care how late that is. The way he did it was not appealing to me.
Yeah, nah. He definitely sounded like he was riding a short bus at school. But
I, I did
like,
not. I was like, is he on pills? Like, that was my first thought. Anyway,
yeah. Also,
Maybe he might have been, but yeah, it's you know what I'm saying. It's just how it happens, man. I didn't even go in there with expectations of losing. You know what I'm saying? And as a battle rapper, you're just supposed to have that righteous confidence. You know what I'm saying, that you're gonna go in there and win the battle. But when if you drop the ball, you really just kind of try to reconsider your approach.